Sanibonani Mpumalanga, sanibonani ma stakeholders ami yaseMpumalanga. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi izinsuku esikuzona manje zihlukile kakhulu ngoba la sikhona namhlanje si streama live lapho sizovula khona izakhiwo zethu zama ECD. Namhlanje ngiyathemba ukuthi lapho nikhona nijabulile emva kokugijima ukuthi silethe ama application, emva kokuthi simile silinde imiphumela yemi application. Izakhiwo zimile manje ezindaweni ezinjengaseMhluzi eBushbuck Ridge, eMatibiti, eCivil, eSillington. Zimile izakhiwo zethu esizakhile sihlangene ne-social development ukuthi lapho sinikeze ama ECD'S ethu emakhaya, ema-township, so that infrastructure yethu ibe yinhle. Ngithi kuni nonke enibukelayo namhlanje, welcome, ngiyanamukela kwi-launch ye-ECD aseMpumalanga. Sizothi mangabe siqhubeka njengeprogram namhlanje sinezikhulumo eziningi ezizoza ngapha, kodwa angihambi ngedwa namhlanje, ngihamba no sis uMpho Papela ozoza ezosinikeza asamukele ama guest ethu esinawo namhlanje. Sisi Mpho, ngiyacela ukuthi uze phambili.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this prestigious event, the event for ECD, Early Childhood Development. It's a partnership between the department and also the National Lotteries Commission, where we are launching the ECD centers. The 8 ECD centers, which were built in partnership with the assistance of National Lottery. And here today, we are here about foundation. And when we talk about foundation, we're talking about ECD, Early Childhood Development. We're here to celebrate and also to launch and to start together to build the future of our children. We are saying early childhood development is everybody's business. So we need to work together so that we make sure that our children, they have a better future and they are all accessing the ECD services. Before we start, I would like to say my name is Mpho Papale and I will be assisting Ms. Tengwenya with regards to the program directing. And moving on, I would like to call our Deputy Minister, Mayor Henrietta Bokopani Zulu, so that we can all pay tribute to the Deputy Director General of Welfare Services, Mrs. Kweni Ngumalo. So I'll call the Deputy Minister to come and pay tribute to the Deputy Director General Welfare Services, Mayor Kweni Ngumalo. Deputy Minister.
It's still morning, right?
It's still morning.
Oh, good morning, South Africa, and thank you very much. We celebrating a life well lived. We're celebrating the Chief Social Worker of South Africa. We're celebrating the person that actually leads and led early childhood development, from the policy to its implementation, the subsidies, everything about children and their rights. She led the struggle of children, and one of the last duties that she did prior to her being admitted because of COVID-19 was the Bangasali campaign, of which it's a campaign where we make sure every ECD, irrespective of whether they are compliant or not, but we want to know where they are, we want to register them, and we thought in paying tribute to Connie. Yesterday I was asked, are you cancelling the event? I'm like, yo, me, I don't want Connie to bukela me. So no, the event has to go on to honor her and her life, because she lived her life in service. Whether it was 1 a.m., you would find Connie will answer her phone, and she would always have the guidance, the leadership. So let's allow Connie to remind us, before we start on this program, to just give us a reminder of why we are doing the work that we are doing, and why all of us, if we have anything that we are feeling for Connie's loss, South Africa, that we can honor and celebrate her life. So let's hear what she is saying as we are about to hand over the 8 completed ECD'S that she knew, because we discussed all the ECD'S we will be launching, and she was very, very excited. So from family DSD, we're in mourning because we've lost South Africa's chief social worker.
Minister, Nelson Mandela Foundation reps and GovChat reps, I greet you all and the colleagues from social development. Today it's a historical day because we are launching the Bangasali. I've been correcting to say, let's say it properly, Bangasali. Like, let's not leave anyone behind. So as we try to work towards opening and easing the lockdown, we really need this program as in yesterday. So thank you all the stakeholders, because this will make us as a sector ready to begin to make a decision that informs us that we are ready to open so that our children can get the very stimulation that we want. As social development, we are excited with this partnership, and we really want to thank you, Nelson Mandela Foundation. We really want to thank you, GovChat, for coming on board, because this will change the face of how the sector looks like. Thank you very much.
Yeah, indeed, a hero has fallen, our DDG from the Welfare Services. Re robala ka khotso, etela ikurula siskoni. And moving forward, as we listen to the message on the launch of Bangasali, where we were launching a program saying that no child should be left behind. When we provide the ECD services, when we work in our different areas, as different departments, as different stakeholders, we shouldn't leave any child behind. And I'll be moving forward with our program in terms of the launch, a prestigious event where we are launching the ECD centers in Mpumalanga province. And we are saying, halala ECD, halala. This is the start of great things, where we'll have infrastructure for our children, where they will learn, they'll be stimulated. And we are going to leave that legacy for our children so that they can be our future leaders. I'll acknowledge the people who are joining us here today in this celebration, in this launch. People who are there in different areas, in the studio and also virtually connecting and also celebrating with us in Mpumalanga. I would like to acknowledge our Deputy Minister of the Department of Social Development, Mayor Henrietta Bogopane Zulu, and also to acknowledge the Deputy Minister of the Department of Basic Education, Honorable Muhaule. As I was talking about partnership, we have different departments who are here, who are carrying this thing together to raise our children. Then we have the MEC of Health in Mpumalanga province, our Honorable Sasekani Manzini, and she has nominated Dudu Mdluli to come and represent the office of the MEC of Health in Mpumalanga. Then in the presence here, we also have our leaders, our traditional leaders who are there in our communities, are assisting us in raising these children. I'll welcome the National Chairperson of House of Traditional Leaders, Inkosi Sipho Mahlangu. And also to acknowledge from Mpumalanga, the Chairperson of Traditional Leaders, Inkosi Sandile Ngomane. We also have the National Lotteries Commission, the board chairperson, Professor Nebutanda, with us today. From the National Lottery Commission, we also have the commissioner, Mrs. Charlotte Mampani, with us today to celebrate. Also, we have the CEO of the National Lottery Operator, what we called Ituba Holdings, the CEO, Mrs. Charmaine Mabuza. And in the presence also, we have the chairperson of ANC Veteran League. We know that our children are being raised by our elderly people. We are depending on them to assist us in raising these children. So we have the chairperson of the Veteran League, which is Dr. Nora Fakude. We also have partners that are working with us. UNICEF, from UNICEF we have, okay, we also have our partners who are working with us, and also the MEC for the Department of Social Development in Mpumalanga. I would also like to acknowledge the MEC from Mpumalanga. And moving forward with our partners, to acknowledge with us UNICEF, Ms. Muriel Mafiko, and ECD, the Congress, the South African Congress for ECD, where they are working together with our practitioners, making sure that they are well taken care of, so that when they stimulate children, it can be done in a loving manner. We have in our midst Mr. Leonard Sol, who is the CEO of the Congress, and also acknowledge the President, which is Ms. Christine Khadebe. We also have our guests, our people who we are here with, the prestigious, the VIPs, our honorable ECD representatives, who will stand for them, which is Ms. Dikeledi Mdluli from Bonisa Preschool. And she will be representing all the ECD centers in Mpumalanga. And we'll also like to welcome everyone, our stakeholders, our partners, and also the ECD community. We are saying, halala ECD, halala ECD. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sis Mpho. We'll also like to acknowledge the Nelson Mandela Foundation as one of our partners. Kule nyanga lena inyanga yabantu besimami, and wathinta abafazi wathinta imbokodo. I am very fortunate ukuthi ngisebenze with such an inspirational woman, a leader, owasinikeza ama-marching orders as NLC staff. Othambani laphayana nihambe nosiza abantu our beneficiaries to ensure ukuthi banayo capacity to implement. And how fitting it is ukuthi the very same ECD'S esiwalontshayo namhlanje run by abantu besimame. It's so fitting ukuthi sivula Women's Month. With those words, ngizocela ukubiza the NLC Commissioner, ngimbiza uma Mampane ukuthi azosinikeza ipurpose ukuthi why silapha and sizokwenzani. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Dumelang Bagaetso. Let me start by thanking our program directors. They do their work so beautifully. Mpho is the second time we're with you, and you're doing a wonderful job. DM, Prof. Nevutanda, all distinguished guests, I think Mpho has acknowledged all of you. Let me not repeat by greeting everyone, except for Hudumedisa Mahosi Aruna, Bo Khosi Ngubane, Bo Khosi Mahlangu. Thank you, everyone. GM, your staff has been just wonderful, and I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the National Lotteries Commission and send our condolences to the family of this great woman, Mekoni Ngumalo. Indeed, your loss is our loss. It is the loss of the great people who we're trying to do our best to empower our children. It is a loss to the sector and a loss to the country as a whole. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of the CEO of Ituba. We got to invite her very late. And DM, I think our chairman will actually explain the relationship between the National Lotteries Commission and Ituba. Let me start by saying June 16 marks the anniversary of Every Dark Day for the youth of South Africa. One might also be interested to know that since 1991, the African Union marks this same day as the International Day of the African Child in honor of South African youth of 1976. Every time we look back on that day, we vow, never again shall an African child die in pursuit of basic human rights. The world is a long way away from living up to that vow, but we are making ground. Education is the one tried and tested tool that continues to fight poverty, but inequalities continually make this an uphill battle. When the National Lotteries Commission's call for applications in early childhood development was issued, it coincided with the Minister of Basic Education's announcement of matric results of 2015. This was said to be an historical year, as the 2014 matrics were the first group of grade 12 learners to write the Curriculum and Assessment Policy Statement, or CAPS, aligned final examinations for the National Senior Certificate. Our call demonstrated our commitment to contributing to the success of future groups of matrics by ensuring a solid foundation, regardless of where they came from. When the minister presented matric results, she spoke at length about students that had been progressed to the next grade and their success rate, and how some of the reasons why these students had failed previously seemingly have little to do with their academic ability, but with the socio-economic issues around them and lack of support. The connection between facilities, infrastructure, support services, and excellence cannot be denied. This is not to diminish the success of those who have made it against the odds of poverty and inequality, but to say once again that no child should have to face an uphill battle in the quest to acquire education. That is part of why we are here today. The formative years of a child's life are largely responsible for the people they grow up to be. It is during these years that the most basic skills are formed, and early childhood development structures are vital for supporting parents during this time. The National Lotteries Commission looked at all these factors and committed to support early childhood development in order to help level the playing field by strengthening the foundations the children of South Africa need. In December 2014, we issued a call for applications in the charity sector targeted at ECD infrastructure, with an aim to provide funding for brick and mortar structures as well as ready-to-occupy edutainers. Today, Deputy Minister Bogopane Zulu, we will hand over some of these structures, not only make a difference in the lives of our children today, but also impact the communities they are in for years to come. Out of these centers, we lay the groundwork towards developing the future leaders of this nation. The late United States President John F. Kennedy once said, "Children are the living messages we send to a time we will not see." If we want that time to be of prosperity, we will continue in pursuit of never again for the children of today. The organizations that are to be entrusted with this infrastructure are part of our team in making sure that this NLC funding has had real impact. I also appeal to the communities where this infrastructure is located to support these initiatives and take ownership of them. These projects ultimately belong to the community, and the community must work with leaders of these NGOs to ensure their success. And in closing, DM and everybody in attendance here today, I'll be really failing in my duty if I don't inform you that the chairperson of the board, Professor Alfred Nevutanda, is the one who got to drive this project. After we completed the first round of call where we were expecting applications, we got to realize after education, after adjudication, I'll just take one province, the Northern Cape, not because I'm from that province, TM. The Northern Cape would have had 1 or 2 ECDs only qualifying as per the criteria and the application. When we reported back to the board, the chairman and the board sent us back and instructed us to send our officials on the ground to go and assess the needs of the people in different communities. It is not a thing that we hide most of the time to say that we really focus on developing areas that are not forgotten, that are not marginalized, but that have not been receiving or benefiting from our democracy as we would have expected. And those mostly are rural areas. We are rural biased as the NLC, and you will see that even with this project of ECD'S, it's mostly those areas in forgotten places where the NLC got to fund the building of ECD'S, because with that, we got to create job opportunities for some people. Firstly, there would have been builders, DM, there would have been suppliers of different materials that were required to see those ECD'S up and running. And furthermore, when everything was done, the chairman of the board once more instructed us to make sure that we came up with a plan for the development of the people who would be looking after our children in those ECD'S. And we've been running that project together with the Department of Social Development. We would like to thank you for this great work, DM Buhopani. We feel really indebted to you. Thank you.
Our Commissioner, Mayor Mampani, thank you very much for telling us why are we here today. We heard that we are here to celebrate. We are here to launch those ECD centers which were built, giving to the communities. She talked about involvement of communities, that this project, we say it's a legacy project because it involves everyone, especially our disadvantaged areas like our rural areas. Thank you very much. We are here to celebrate ECD in this and also to start a new start for our children. We're saying that it's a foundation. We need to strengthen that foundation. And everyone, we should make a difference. Wherever you are, make a difference. Because when these centers were built, the communities were involved. Job creation in those communities. And they were also feeling that this is our buildings. This is our project. So that at the end, they should take ownership and look after those nice and beautiful structures for our children. So I'd like to welcome a message from Ituba, the National Lottery Operator, CEO, Mayor Charmaine Mabuza, who is joining us on the visual. a message of support. Charmaine Mabuza, over to you.
Thank you. I trust that everybody can hear me, but from the onset, let me acknowledge all the distinguished guests that are here today and all those who are watching us on virtual. Let me acknowledge you and follow protocol and observe it to all our guests. Today, I'm particularly honored because I also come from this province, Mpumalanga, and that we are actually launching this ECD beginning in my beautiful province, Mpumalanga. So, Chair, I'm very honored to, that we're starting in a province that I particularly have got so much affinity to. I'm further honored to be part of this momentous event today, and being Women's Month in particular, so this is extraordinary for us. There is a desperate need for early childhood development centers in our country. We live in a country where approximately 40% of young children grow up in conditions of abject poverty and neglect. This is a tragedy. In our province, Mpumalanga, concerning statistics reveal that 94% of children finish primary school, but only 37% finish high school. This is lower than the national average. A huge part of the statistics can be attributed to the lack of adequate early childhood development centers or facilities. It is such reports that keep me up at night and drive us as the national lottery operator Ituba to work harder in fulfilling our mandate of raising funds that contribute towards such good causes. In the past financial year, Ituba contributed over 1.6 billion rand to National Lotteries Distribution Trust Fund, which was yet another record-breaking amount in the history of South African National Lottery. This could not have been possible without you. You who buy lottery tickets, you who continuously support us religiously. For those of you who do not know, for every 1 rand spent on buying a lottery ticket, an average of about 27 cents goes directly back to building communities through contributions to charities and educational facilities, such as this one, which we are opening up today. So, by playing the National Lottery, you take part in building a better South Africa for all. As Ituba, we are tasked with an important mandate of raising funds that support the socio-economic development of our country. We are pleased to be working hand in hand with the NLC, ensuring that our lives of our fellow citizens are positively uplifted. This is why it is vital that only legal lotteries that have the intention of benefiting all citizens of South Africa should be allowed to trade. To optimize the return to good causes, I urge that only one operator at a time be tasked with this objective and privilege. It is of utmost importance that all our stakeholders speed up the much-needed amendment of regulations to prohibit illegal lotteries from taking bets on the outcome of the national lottery results. To the NLC, congratulations for this milestone. Well done. I know the kind of hard work that you put in continuously. May I leave you with this quote from our former President, Nelson Mandela. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. I thank you.
Siyabonga kakhulu make Charmaine Mabuza ngoba eshilo ukuthi uqhamuka eMpumalanga eNaspoti. Mangabe sikhona lapha eNaspoti sithi sisebenza in NLC, others will say nakhona lapha eThuba ngoba ama-ofisi ethu asondelene kakhulu. Siyabonga kakhulu ngalo myalezo sinikeza wona make Charmaine. Ngizicela ukusho ukuthi engizokintroduce manje isilokho esikubiza nge-audio visual presentation. La sathi nginikeza i-background ukuthi sanikezwa i-task ukuthi mangabe sihamba siyowabheka lama ECD ngalesikhathi sebelenze ama-application. Ukubona umehluko owenziwe i-National Lotteries Commission. Ukubona ukuthi ngade be-operator emkhukhwini ukuthi u-room emakhishini. ukubona umehluko esiwenzile ehluvukane emajimbeni eCivil B eSillington eMasingmong eMatibiti eMhluzi nasembuzini la sizokhombisa khona ukuthi lezi zakhiwo lezi esakhiwe esozivula namhlanje zibukeka kanjani and the impact esiyenzile emphakathini in those villages la izakhiwo zikhona. Ngicela ukuthi sibone ukuthi umsebenzi omuhle owenziwe National Lotteries Commission ubukeka kanjani. Ngiyabonga.
Naki Matsidiso Koza, Kitwakilimo Kensani Combined Preschool, Gima Municipality wa Matosana, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda.
Ki me andase soko mokokuwa Pressure Matama Mohali. Jeriko is a rural area. Kahoya kamukhalipila kating ikhabiste motse wa rona.
We've been struggling for so many years. Since 2008, I'd like to thank National Lotteries Commission from our province, Northwest. I am honored as I'm one of the 3 creches in Muritile who have been honored by these centers.
Extension 10, but before lottery in Gahela, Nikile
My name is Tikeledi, my surname is Mdluli. Kitomile Crash 2003 with 15 kids. Social development in Tlangerone Ndibona ingakuyile ke bebeni ka South Africa hinkwayo. That's why ndirhandza ku khensa ngopfu ka NLC, ndiri halala NLC ongeti siku rin'wana na rin'wana ngo endla tano ku nga ka hina ntsena inkomu.
Lottery e re thusitse le batsadi ba khona go bona gore nutrition ya bana ba ja. Bana ba phela ha o tshwane le gane bana ba ya ko di backyard care centers.
Lotho le yona ye ya re thusha ya re agela moya go mogolo wa gore bana ba rune ba khone lo kena ga di toilet tsa go flusha ba khone go kraya le mojingo ba khone go gana se re ileboga ka moka matla lotho social development lona re ishi morago le yona ra ileboga ge ba se ka yona creation case so nke re sa khona go fitlela mo re fitlheng gona.
Thank you, NLC and ECD. Realeboga NLC, realeboga social development le kamoso.
Thank you, social development. Thank you, NLC.
Thank you, NLC. Thank you, ECD.
Realeboga social development, realeboga NLC.
Thank you, NLC, for changing our children's lives with partnership with social development.
Halala NLC, halala Halala ECD, halala. We have seen the joy, the excitement, the improvement in children's life. We have seen how our practitioners have a passion for ECD, for raising our kids. As we know that we are celebrating Women's Month, we see that our women are serious and are taking this seriously in raising our children. Thank you, National Lotteries. Thank you, Social Development, for thinking about our children. We saw all the ECD centers in Mpumalanga province, and we noticed that National Lotteries and Social Development are not only working in Mpumalanga, they are in all the provinces across all people in South Africa, covering all children. Today we are celebrating the centers that are there in Mpumalanga. And we saw the beautiful structures, the colorful. As they were saying their messages, thanking everyone, they said that wangithathala, wangibegala, wangisusala, wangiisale, thinking about our children. That's where they are, coming from the backyards, ECDs, having a structure that they are proud of and is part of their communities. That's our ECD centers in Mpumalanga, the ones that we are launching, the ones we are handing over today. And with those words, I would like to welcome someone who will saying a message, who will having a remark on behalf of all those ECD centers in Mpumalanga, a representative from one of the ECD centers, Medical Lady Mdluli from Bonisa Preschool in Mhluzi. She'll be speaking on behalf of all the ECD centers to represent them and also to give a message and to thank. Medical Lady Mdluli, over to you.
Greetings to everyone who's watching. My name is Lady Mdluli. I'm from Bonisa Preschool. I'm the manager of Bonisa Preschool. I started working at Bonisa Preschool in 2003. By that time, we were working at the rented place. We didn't have any building for our Bonisa. So in 2008, we got registered with the Social Development, and then we continued working at the rented place. There was a call in 2014 for NLC, at the NLC, and then we applied for the funding. Luckily, we got the funding in 2015. And by that time, we managed to buy Bonisa Preschool land. As we got the funding from the National Lotteries, they built for our Bonisa Preschool. So we like to say to NLC, thank you so much for the funding on behalf of Mpumalanga ECD'S. Thank you, NLC, for building our organization in partnership with Social Development. We like to say you have made a huge difference in our communities, in our children's lives. Thank you so much. Thank you, keep on funding us. And to the Social Development, we like to say thank you for the support you're always giving us, the monitoring, you're always doing the monitoring, the evaluation, the support, everything that we need from your office, you're always helping us. Thank you, NLC, thank you. We like to say halala ECD, halala, halala Mpumalanga, halala. Thank you so much.
Halala ECD'S, halala. Siyabonga kakhulu sijabulile kakhulu. I remember about 3 years back, ngalesikhathi sihamba siyovula senze it-tot ceremony. Sasikhona lapha eMhluzi, sigcwele khona sisiyoqala siyaqala ukwakha. Kwakuyiso yona ECD esahamba siyoyivula eyokuqala esayakha. Siyabonga kakhulu. Manje sizothola ukuthi sikukhuluma iCEO ye-South African Congress for ECD'S. Ubaba Leonard Soul. And ngicela ukusho ukuthi the Congress immobilize ama-ECD'S nama-practitioners ukuthi babe khona i-access to ama-ECD'S and bayakwazi ukucapacitate ilokhuzana sector. And as usisi Mpho eshilo, thina as National Lotteries Commission, as much as siwafunda ama-building izakhiwo, ezinye izinto esikwazi ukuthi siwufund iwona lesi sibiza ukuthi ama-program okufundisa ama-ECD practitioners. And how fitting it is ukuthi with our partners ekhona uzokhuluma namhlanje ubaba uSoul ozokhuluma representing the South African Congress for ECDs. Ngicela ukuthi sisamukele, siyabonga kakhulu.
Good morning, Program Director, the Honorable Deputy Henrietta Bokopane Zulu, the MEC for the Deputy Minister for Education, the MEC for Health, DSD and Mpumalanga, all representatives from the Department of Social Development, and other NGOs and ECD centers. It is such an honor for us this morning to be part of this wonderful program. We also wish to express as an organization our condolences to the family of our Sis Connie Mpumalanga, Deputy Director General for Social Development, who passed on so suddenly. We are saddened that she's left us, but may her soul rest in peace. As the program director has indicated to us, we are a national organization and we also operate in Mpumalanga province. We are an organization that mobilizes early childhood development practitioners, and we try to upgrade their qualifications, their competencies. We try to ensure that they know all the fundamentals of teaching children from birth to 6 years old. A second priority we have is to ensure that when our children are in a care and education situation, that there is proper accommodation in an ECD center. An ECD center that is structured properly, that provides healthy services, secured services, and is able to ensure that all our children are safe against the weather and the environment. And we are therefore so glad this morning to be associated with this WebEx program this morning, because we believe that no child should be left behind. We believe this morning that every child in every corner of South Africa, and for the purposes of this morning, especially in Mpumalanga, should be catered for. Our children are brought up differently. We have children who have access to a father and a mother, children who have access to food, children who have access to medical attention. But we believe there are children out there that are struggling, children that have special needs. We believe there are children out there who have lost parents, orphans, who should also be catered in a proper environment. As I looked at the beautiful structures, the 8 ECD centers that were erected, we erected a school once. We have erected about 200 schools as an organization, thanks to the assistance of the National Lotteries as well and other funders. But when we erected a center in one of the townships in Kimberley, we were asked, why do you erect such a beautiful building in a town surrounded by poverty? There's no water, there's no electricity. Why do you erect it? Why do you take was that every child should be treated with dignity? Every child should have the opportunity to be in an environment where proper and adequate care and education is taken care of. And that's why We really want to thank from the early childhood development sector. We want to thank our Honorable Deputy Minister, the Department of Social Development. We wish to thank the board and the management of the National Lotteries Commission. We want to thank our communities who have participated to make these 8 centers a reality this morning, because we believe our children must be developed. Our children must be educated so that they live a healthy life. They live a secure life. But over and above, our children should be developed through play. Play as a methodology. Our children should be happy. There are so many things that count against our children. There are so many things that are negative in our environment that we believe that our children should have a proper start. And therefore this morning I wish to end off my message to the practitioners who will be in those ECD centers, the people who will be taking care of the children. You are the most important people in the lives of those children. Some of you take care of them for 5 hours. Others take care of them for 8 hours. So this morning we cannot overemphasize the importance of early childhood development. With about 8.2 million children in our country, from birth to 6 years old, we have a massive opportunity to change our country, to put our country in a positive spin this morning. We can look after our children, that they grow up a next generation that will take our country forward. Let us not lose the 26 years that we've spent building our democracy, because our children should take it forward. And therefore, I really want to congratulate you as you start your first day, or if you have started in these 8 centers, knowing that a provision has been made so that you can make a great contribution. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much, Ntate Sol, the CEO for South African Congress for ECD. They are mobilizing, they are advocating, and they are looking after our practitioners and also our children, where we are saying practitioners who are happy, they will raise happy children. And just to mention that we have the intersectoral forum for ECD, where we have different stakeholders, where we have Ntate Sol engaging on matters for children. So we also have those forums at our community level, at ward level, who are there to take care of our children and also to make sure that the environment where we raise our children is safe. And to mention also that National Lotteries Commission, they also supported in terms of our practitioners on issues of training to make sure that they train our practitioners where they can give quality education, where they can stimulate and follow programs for ECD. Ntate Sol talked about play. How do we play and make sure that children, they also learn and they are stimulated? So National Lotteries, they also supported us in terms of that to make sure that we provide quality programs in our ECD centers. And we'd like to say thank you. Thank you, Ntate Sol. And I would like to welcome from our partners. I mentioned that we have the intersectoral forum where we're working together with the civil society, our donors, and also our institutions talking about ECD matters. So I would like to welcome UNICEF, Ma'am Muriel Mafiko, to give a message of support for ECD. Over to you, Ma'am Muriel.
Thank you very much, Program Director Ngiyabonga kakhulu. I'm so delighted to join the handover ceremony in Mpumalanga. fact, in Swaziland a few years ago, we used to spend a lot of time in the Mpumalanga province. So like my sister who spoke earlier about her connection to the province, I also feel I have that connection to the province and can relate to the province, having spent some time there when I was visiting. I would like to, first of all, thank the organizers. Thank you for organizing this event during very unusual times. But I think by having this event, we are confirming our conviction that the best investment we can ever make for children, the best investment we can ever make for a country is to invest in its children. And that is why today's event is significant. It is significant because it brings many players. We have heard from the introductions, and I would like to adopt the protocol that has already been established. We have the traditional leaders that have been mentioned. We have our deputy ministers from different ministries, education, social development. We have our partners from the national lotteries. We have our community people, the people who are at the center of raising children and providing a safe environment. So all that speaks to the importance of partnership in raising children. Indeed, the African saying which says, it takes a village to raise a child. It is so true, and we see it even at today's event. I would like to acknowledge the partnership that we have. UNICEF has been partnering with the Department of Social Development, with education, and many other partners for many, many years. In fact, we go back almost 2 decades of partnership. And it's because we have a shared belief that if we invest in early childhood development, we are building a strong foundation. Someone earlier mentioned foundation. So we are building a strong foundation, and that foundation begins with the brain development, which is so critical in the first few years of a child's development. So we are partners in this building project, building a healthy future, building a prosperous future, and also building a future that is equal. So if we believe in reducing inequality, if we believe in reducing poverty, and if we believe in creating opportunities for employment for children, it all begins with quality early childhood development. That is the foundation of all foundations. Everything else that follows only comes on top of a strong foundation. So we know from science, it is very clear. The early years of childhood form the basis of intelligence, personality, social behavior, and capacity to learn. That is what science tells us. Science also tells us that brain development is most rapid in the early years of life. And that's why it's important to do the right things during that critical period. We further know that the effects of early disadvantage on children can be reduced through quality early childhood development. Another thing that we know from science is that when we invest in early childhood, it is not a cost, it is an investment. So the early years of a child provide us a tremendous window of opportunity. It is a window of opportunity that exists, but only for a moment. And therefore, it's important that we maximize that window of opportunity, which is there, and it creates an opportunity for us to really make sure that children have the best start in life. By investing in early childhood, and this has been said time and time again, the impact is lifelong. So it's not just the results that we see in the early ages, but the impact lasts a lifetime. And that's why it's the best investment we can ever make. We also know that investing in early childhood development gives us the highest returns that we can ever get. So when we invest in children, we know that we are bringing up a generation of people who are also going to give back. They are going to get better jobs. They are going to be more balanced adults, and they are going to be in a better position to contribute to their society, contribute to their country. So the returns are substantial and they are intergenerational. So that is why we are all here today, because we know that investing in this critical period of a child's development is the best decision that we can ever make. I would like to share with you 4 keys, 4 ways in which we can unlock children's potential. The first key is to invest early, and that is what we are doing. And thank you to the partners who have come on board to invest early and give every child a fair chance, no matter where they live, no matter where they come from, giving every child a fair chance and a good start in life. The second key is to invest equitably, because the children with the least benefit the most from early childhood development. So equity has to be at the center of what we do, reaching those who are left behind. Then the third key is we need to invest smartly. It's not only investing in education, but also in health, in nutrition, and in protection. It's really about an integrated approach. That is what is needed. And we see it today by the partners who are attending this event. The last key is that we invest now. We do it now, not tomorrow. And again, that is why we are here today. So thank you to the partners who have come on board. Indeed, it takes partnerships. It takes parents, ECD practitioners, communities, traditional leaders, and today's event is an example of partnerships that are needed in order for us to give every child the best start in life. So on behalf of UNICEF, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the Department of Social Development, Education, our partners from the lotteries, and everyone else, the traditional leaders, the parents, the community, the caregivers, the ECD practitioners, everyone. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. This is the best decision we can make to invest in South Africa's children. Thank you very much.
Siyabonga kakhulu Mage Mafiko from UNICEF. I think it's very important as partners to mention ukuthi i-role edlalwa UNICEF in terms of lobbying we improve the experience of an African child. A child in the village also has got the same opportunities as the child with my suburbs. So we thank you for those wise words and zone. I'm here to introduce my chairperson. In 2014 and 2014-15, the NLC took a decision to decentralize ukuthi sambeni siye kuma provinces ukuthi iservice sisiyise kubantu la abantu bekhona. And that decision, i-impact eyenzeka ukuthi ama beneficiaries lawe sinawo namhlanje we're able ukuthi sihlangane nawo face to face, sihlale nabo sibachazela ukuthi application process isebenza kanjani ebusuku right through the night. And ile umphumela leyo sibonayo namhlanje is based on that decision ukuthi NLC must go to the people and service abantu where behlala khona. And we are very proud of that decision, Chairperson. The other thing, Chairperson angitshela yona, I once met him, wathi Mzwandile, I want to see dust. Ngifuna ukubona ukuyasetshenzwa manje. So lama ECD awaphela. And I'm happy to report, Chairperson, ukuthi i-dust yabakhona. It's done. And right now we're handing over ECD'S. And there's more work through vision yakho sinikeza yona as the organization ukuthi we move forward and we take care of the privileged underserved communities. It's that vision that we appreciate. I think OCM Commissioner mentioned it. I kept on saying ukuthi chairperson, let me welcome Prof Nefutanda to the stage ukuthi asinikeze as a umyalezo as the board chairperson. Thank you.
Program Director, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Deputy Minister of Social Development, Bokopane Zulu, and the whole department receive the condolences from the National Lotteries Commission about the passing away of a very workaholic lady who made the department to where it is today. We send our condolences. Let me acknowledge all the program directors for this function, all the stakeholders that have been invited, more especially people from Mpumalanga, leaders from Mpumalanga, government leaders, especially Inkosi Mahlangu, who has been traveling with us most of our community engagement, and also the chairperson of the Mpumalanga House of Traditional Leaders. Let me also give a word of appreciation to the department that we report to, the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. I know that they are not with us here, but they've sent us to make sure that this function proceeds. Let me also appreciate the Group CEO of Ituba, Mesha Main Mabuza, also the veteran of the ANC in the name of it starts to Mefakude. In fact, the reason why she disappears quickly in my mind, she's not only the veteran of what has been said, she's also the veteran of the National Lotteries Commission, because she is the person that started with the National Lotteries Commission. We give you a hat and say you have started something wonderful. Well, let me start by the salutation or quotation that Ms. Mabuza indicated from the mouth of our leader who has already departed, Dr. Nelson Mandela. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. The late, great Nelson Mandela left us with these words: "Our hard-won freedom can only be sustained if we jealously guard the future of our children and equip them with tools not only for survival, but to thrive. The greatest of these tools is education." Let me pause here and tell you something that happened in my life. I am so moved about the concept of early childhood development. Let me tell you the reason why. I didn't go to school voluntarily. I was heading my father's cattle, and I was already past the stage of going to early childhood education. I was arrested by the headman when I was crossing the road. He captured me and put me on a bakkie. I was already over 10 years old without going to school. And he dropped me. My first teacher, I still remember, she's still alive, Miss Nechilema. But because I didn't have a book, I was sitting there under the tree because there was no classroom. So whatever she was trying to write on the chalkboard, I had to write on the ground. If she says, "This is R," I will write R the way she's writing there. Look where I am today. It started in that way. Secondly, Deputy Minister, the reason why I so fond of the early childhood education. My daughter, she used to travel 60 kilometers from home to where the ECD center is, and come back and drive again 60 kilometers home. One day, I accompanied her to the road so that the taxi can collect her. It was very cold. I was a lecturer by then. That day I said, no ways. If we don't make a means, I don't think I can allow my daughter to travel 120 kilometers. I lobbied the civic organization because I was the chairperson of the civic. I said, let's start our own ECD center. The first teacher and the principal, we had to negotiate from the school, from another school in a white area. And I said, I would rather cut my salary that I'm getting from the College of Education and pay this teacher. As I'm talking now, the school started as an early childhood education in Makado, Zanani. Now it is ECD included, primary included, and secondary included. Out of that pain that I felt, that children cannot drive so far in order to receive the education. In 2015, young people rallied together in protest and reminded the nation of South Africa how important it is to remove barriers to education for South Africa to prosper. Ms. Mabuza, we thank you very much for honoring what you signed with the board and the minister, that in every cent that you get as the national lottery operator, a certain percentage will come back to the regulator in order to make sure that the regulator uses this money to build centers like this one. I think Commissioner will agree with me. I think we were launching some of these ECD centers in the Northwest, if not Limpopo, with the Deputy Minister from the then Trade and Industry. I said, and the Deputy Minister supported me, that the next step that the National Lottery should look at is to establish regional education centers wherein all the teachers of the early childhood centers can come together and be taught accordingly in a nice manner. And I still dream that Deputy Minister, Commissioner, MECs who are listening, I think that dream should come true. Whether it comes true this year or when I'm no longer in the lottery, but the fact is we need to have those regional training center for early childhood educators. One of the main goals of the National Development Plan talks to reducing inequalities. Early childhood development became a priority area for us at the NLC because of the wide-ranging impact that it has toward reducing inequalities. We made this investment in ECD infrastructure as committed to NDP's intervention area of improving education, innovation and training, and contribute to targets of ensuring that all children should have at least 2 years of preschool education. 5 years later, we are pleased to be able to call this a legacy project of the National Lotteries Commission as we hand over these buildings to communicate to communities and organizations with the same focus when it comes to equipping our young and securing the future of our children. You will agree with me that when we have a structure of the Congress of ECD centers, we are having the most powerful lobby group to make sure that our children receive better education. And as the Commissioner indicated that I will speak more about the lottery operator, we are so thankful that this is the the month of women in South Africa, and we are celebrating achievement of women. I'm happy to say Ituba lottery operator has been with us for a number of years, and the relationship has grown from being the regulator and operator to a situation where there are problems, the regulator sits down with the operator in order to maximize, because fighting cannot bring money. Our work is to make sure that Ituba brings more money and we take it to the communities. So the relationship is very good, and we are making sure that whatever they are giving us, we pass it to the communities. Outside there, it may look like there are no projects that the NLC is pushing. Let me tell you, there are projects. The reason why we have partnered with social development is because we have enough in our hands that we need to pass it to the Department of Social Development. You will find that at each launch, we talk about research that shows that the first 1,000 days of a child's life are most critical to development of a certain skills, and the first 5 years form the imprint for the child's education. This is something we reinforce continually, because it must be imprinted on the mind of anyone with children in their care. To parents outside there, please look after these buildings. To social development, we are handing these buildings to you, and we know that they are in good hands. We are also aware that the ECD is not only about classroom education. As the National Lottery, we won't pull away. We will, from time to time, advertise focus areas in which the ECD centers can focus on, so that all these ECD centers can have a very good program that they can put in place. You all know that these children are coming back to their classes, and we urge the board, my board, the commission, to make sure that you sit down with the Department of Social Development and find ways in which those ECD centers that we have built, there are PPEs in order to make sure that we protect our children from this pandemic. I know, Deputy Minister, Commissioner, that before long we'll also come to people and tell them that these are the things that the National Lottery is busy looking at, all those structures that we have built. It is my wish and my hope that these structures, as we hand them, we know that social development and basic education, you will make sure that these structures will, from time to time, be renovated. The National Lottery is open to receive anything that will advance the plight of our children. With these few words, Deputy Minister, I hand these infrastructures to you. Please make sure that they are safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor, with all these words of encouragement, words that shows us that this partnership is forever. It's not ending here with the launch of these ECD centers. National Lotteries is handing over these centers, but there will be continued support in terms of making sure that these buildings are taken care of, handing it to our communities. He mentioned parents that look after these buildings. So it's a thing that we need to work together as the whole community. It's not DSD, it's not National Lotteries, it's all of us, the community there, our parents, and also our community leaders to make sure that we take care of these ECD centers. And the story that he shared, that access to ECD center, traveling a long distance to access the ECD services. Imagine a child waking up, traveling 60 kilos just to get stimulation and also quality education, the foundation. So National Lotteries is assisting because these centers are within our communities, in our deep rural areas where children can walk to attend our ECD programs. And to mention that we are talking about those structures, it's not only the structures. As a professor mentioned, that there are a lot of things that are being done, a lot of projects that are being done in partnership with the department and National Lotteries. We also have our non-center-based ECD programs, where we have our mobiles that are coming to the communities, where we are making sure that we have our containers to make sure that our children are accessing. And National Lotteries is also assisting us in terms of that. Thank you, Professor, with all those words. I would like to call upon the chairperson of ANC Veteran League. And Professor mentioned that Dr. Fakude is not only the veteran for ANC, also for National Lotteries. For Dr. Fakude to give us a message, encouragement. We are saying ECD is everybody's business. If you look, people who are taking care of those children in our ECD centers, we have veterans, and they are providing so much knowledge to our children. We talk about the storytelling, we talk about involving elderly people so that they come to our ECD centers to engage children, to also teach and share the knowledge with our youth practitioners in terms of taking care of children. So I would like to welcome Dr. Fakude from the Veterans League. Dr. Fakude, over to you.
Thank you, Program Director, for this opportunity that you're giving me to just congratulate the ECD practitioners who are going to receive the buildings today. May I just greet our Deputy Minister, Honorable Mokgopane Zulu, Deputy Minister Mfanasekhaya Regina Mhaule, MEC Shongwe, Chairperson of the NLC, Professor Nebutalo, recipients today who are the honest guests. I want to observe all the protocol. Mine is to appreciate and congratulate the recipients of the ECD centers in our province. Deputy Minister, we honestly and earnestly appreciate these centers in this province. As you are aware, Mpumalanga is a mainly rural province. Very few organizations think and plan for anything that will enhance the future of the communities. And we just want to appreciate the NLC and your department for thinking about the rural child and a woman. Investing in early childhood development is key in planting an unshakable foundation of the future of our country, especially the future of a Black rural child from the rural areas, the forgotten areas. Women and children are still the face of poverty in our country. Cheap labor is drawn from these areas. And when the cheap labor is transported to town, it leaves the children more vulnerable when the parents are away. These centers will provide safe shelters for the children in a place where they can get a meal, let alone the tuition, the foundation that is going to be created. Most children from the rural areas don't even finish school, not because they are not clever, but because of the conditions that they grow in. And if you can see a few select who manage to access early childhood education, they excel. And then we say it's a miracle when a child from Bushbuckridge, Emma Jembeni, comes with 7 distinction. And that's what is expected from these centers. Go out, build this foundation. I want to agree, yes, I was one of the first Lotteries Board members. And I just want to give you a story that when the NLDTF started distributing funds, we wanted organizations who have a history of existence. And all the organizations that were benefiting were SPCA and other organizations, but when it came to organizations that would enhance our people, like early childhood development, there was a fight. And we used to argue, Professor, that you can't take care of dogs and cats to the detriment of our children. That's where we come from with where we are, Charmaine, today, that we need to aggressively make sure that these centers prosper. It is said that I'm chairperson of the Veterans League. No, I'm just a acting secretary of the Veterans League and their treasurer. I am chairperson of BASCO, a transport company in the local area in Mpumalanga. And being a teacher myself, when we wanted where we can enhance the lives of people, target number 1 was early childhood centers. We used to change 4 buses and made them fully fledged classes, and they would drive into the length and breadth of our province. But we realized that most of the early childhood centers would just feed the children because give them a meal, let them sleep, and then go home. So we started training those practitioners. I am happy to announce that BASCO from 1996 to today, we trained about 2,000 practitioners so that they can add value in the lives of these people. And we want to thank the National Lotteries Board because they donated a combi. We still go around the practitioners that we train to make sure that they are feeding our children what we taught them. And we will continue even though the department is taken over, to make sure that every practitioner in our province is trained to empower those children. And we really appreciate what has come in as a donation. 10, we need more than 100, I think, in our province, but we appreciate what has been donated to our province today. You will see the results. I can assure you and promise you, there are old people who are willing to learn and teach, and there are youngsters who are willing to learn and teach. And those centers will also install dignity to those who gave their lives to teach our young ones, to build those foundations so that we produce better citizens of our province and country and our better future leaders. Thank you very much.
Siyabonga kakhulu ma Fakude, and how true is it? I'm a resident yase Nasport. So uma ke Fakude mangabe ekhuluma ngomsebenzi omuhle owenziwa uBasco, ngingaba iwitness nakhona lana ngimile ukuthi uyasebenza in terms of uplifting umphakathi waseMpumalanga. Manje ngizobiza irepresentative of MSc of Health uma ke Dudu Dlamini. Mangabe sikhuluma nge-healthcare, sike sikhuluma nge-provision of ama-health services by ama-caregivers. But the question ukuyibuza ukuthi how is ECD then ihlangane nayo lokhuzana issues ze-health? Ingoba phela kubalekile ukuthi sazi ukuthi umntwana olambile, umntwana onganayo i-nutrition ekahle, akabi interested ukufunda, ukhathele. And ngeke akwazi futhi lapho masingabe sikhuluma ngokukhula kwakhe, which is the physical growth and the bone development, uzostrugglisha leyo mntwana. So it becomes very important ukuthi mangabe sikhuluma nge-healthcare and nutrition kulawo lama ECD'S ukuthi sikwazi uku-involve wonke ama-stakeholders ethu. And ithina njenge-National Lotteries Commission, Deputy Minister, I need to state this ukuthi not only are we handing over ama-structures, siyazi ukuthi futhi we are funded even the support services in terms of operational and administration cost, of which will include also nutrition and food security kuwona lama these centers. With those words, ngicela ukwamukela uma ke uDudu Mdluli o represent iMSc of Health uma ke Manzini. Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Good afternoon. Yes, it's already good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Chairperson, and greetings to the ministers and the deputy ministers and the recipients of this important initiative of the donation of the ECD centers. I must say that it is an honor for the Department of Health to be part of such a prestigious event where the Department of Social Development is receiving the donations of the ECD centers that are going to be used by our communities at Bushbuckridge. And I must indicate that I'm here to appreciate this initiative on behalf of the Department of Health and on behalf of my HOD who has sent me, Dr. Savera Mohangi, who said I should apologize on her behalf because she is also having a commitment, as MEC also had a commitment that they couldn't reschedule him, but nonetheless, we are here on the government to also join hands and, you know, we are really appreciating the donation. And actually be thankful enough, because we believe as the Department of Health that this initiative or this donation of ECD centers in Bushbuck Ridge, it is going to assist and actually assist us all in terms of reaching our targets as a Department of Health, because we know that our mandate as Department of Health is to provide healthcare services. And when you look at the NDP, it says we are supposed to reduce the we are supposed to increase the life expectancy. And if we increase life expectancy, we have to start by ensuring that we take care of our children. And we start by taking care of them while they are still in utero, in their mother's wombs. We make sure that we take care of them. And as well as they are going out of their mother's wombs, we make sure that the first 1,000 days of their lives is a very critical period of their lives. That's where all the development is happening. And that's where, as health, we are playing a role in ensuring that we assist and ensure that we identify any challenges that are there within that child. And I must say that the area where this initiative is being donated at Bushbuck Ridge, we know that it is one of our nodal areas, and which is a priority to the department, to the government of Mpumalanga and to the Department of Health. And we are saying this initiative actually is going to assist in addressing the injustice that has happened, you know, in these areas through the previous dispensation, whereby these areas were sort of neglected and they never actually had the services that they are supposed to be having. And we know that our government has actually made some strides in ensuring that those imbalances and injustices are being addressed, in ensuring that people do access equal healthcare services wherever they are. And we believe that this initiative is one of the initiatives that is actually adding on to ensuring that, you know, people do have access to services. And this infrastructure is of high importance to us, because it's going to assist us to ensure that when we go and render services to our communities, we can be able to access these children to be in one place where they'll be in an ECD centers. And as a Department of Health, we know that currently we are busy with NHI, and NHI, which is being introduced, that talks to the increase of access to quality healthcare services by everybody, irrespective of of the economic background of a person. And we believe that through this NHI, which has been introduced through re-engineering of primary health care, where as a department we have increased the number of ward-based outreach teams, the teams that are going out to the wards and ensuring that they also do visit these ECD centers. And we have also increased the number of our school health teams that are also visiting the very same ECD centers and the schools, ensuring that we target the grade Rs and we also target the grade ones, and also the other learners in the ECD centers, to ensure that, as I've said, that the 1,000 lives days of children is a very critical one. So one of the issues that we are doing there is to ensure that all children are being immunized, and these centers are going to assist us, because we'll be getting these children in under one roof, and we'll be able to assess their road to health cards to see if they are they are correct in terms of the immunization, they are in schedule in terms of getting their immunization services. And these centers would assist us to be able to do that. And they will also assist us in ensuring that our integrated management of childhood illnesses is implemented very well. And that's where we'll be able to identify child illnesses very early when they are there at the ECD centers. And also it's going to assist us to be able to identify any developmental challenges that the child might be having. And it is better if it is identified early, because then we are able to intervene early and come up with interventions that are going to assist this child in going forward and making sure that this child is going to grow to be an adult that is going to contribute to the economy of the country. And as a department, I can say that we really appreciate this initiative, and we are looking forward as a leading department also in the ECD centers with the Department of Social Development to ensure that we support the recipients of this donation and ensuring that things like nutrition, we assist them on how, they can be able to make sure that those children access, nutritional balanced diets, and making sure that those children are taken care and their health is also being taken care. And I can say that as a department, we are saying congratulations and thank you very much to Ituba for such an initiative. And we are looking forward to working forward with the recipients of this donation. With those words, I would like to thank you.
Thank you very much, Medudu. We see that there's a lot that is happening. She covered like everything that the Department of Health is doing in our ECD sector, taking care of those little ones, looking also after the pregnant mothers, where we focus also on the first 1,000 days for children. The nutrition, it's very important that our children get good nutrition. If we provide resources, we provide food, we need to make sure that they are being prepared well so that the nutrition must not be taken away when food are being prepared. So the Department of Health is also assisting us in terms of that. We have a guideline for ECD programs in terms of nutrition, where we are guiding our practitioners, where we are guiding our cooks in terms of preparation of food, how to store the food in our ECD centers, and to make sure that our children are accessing good, healthy food. And the Department of Health, we also have our EHP, environmental health practitioners, who are making sure that the structures that we are being handed today are safe for our children. The environment is safe. I would like to welcome the MEC for the Department of Social Development, Honorable B.T. Shongwe, to give the remarks from the Department of Social Development in terms of what is the department doing in Nelspruit, in Mpumalanga, for children. How are they supporting? Honorable B.T. Shongwe, over to you, MEC.
Thank you, Program Director. Deputy Minister of Social Development, Umama Umkhopane Zulu, Deputy Minister of Basic Education, Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Inkosi Usandile Ngomane, representative from UNICEF, representatives from South African Council of ECD'S, reps from National Lottery Commission, especially the chairperson of the board, UCC, Charmaine Mabuza, Umam Nora, our mother, our veteran, ladies and gentlemen, our children are the rock of which our future is built on, and they are our greatest assets as a nation. Indeed, Program Director, you will agree with me that they are leaders of tomorrow, our own wealth. It is important for the private sector and government to work together to ensure that our children's education is fully supported at an early age. The NDP and the ECD policy of 2015 commits to ensure that every child in South Africa has access to a full range of ECD services by 2030. Program Director, you will agree with me again that investing in the childhood development centers is a conscious decision by the department to make sure that we use the funds that we receive through the National Lottery to invest in the early child's education. This will contribute positively to early child development while instilling the culture of learning and love for education while they receive proper education and learning, including care and safety. We are proud to receive the 8 ECD centers in the province. We promise to take good care of them in terms of the pronouncement that has been made by the chairperson of the lottery to make sure that we look after them and make sure that they are renovated, and also to encourage the community to take good care of them. In fact, they are there in the rural areas, as mentioned by Umamanora. 5 of them are in Bushbuckridge, a deep rural area. One of them is in Buzini, again, yet another rural area. So we anticipate that our communities will receive such services where they will be able to take their children at an early age for learning, because ngesiswati sithi ligojwa lisemandi. We anticipate that our children must receive good education at an early stage. We make sure as the Department of Social Development that we work with the recipients of these structures and also to guide them and train them in terms of looking after those structures. Yet we must thank the Deputy Minister because she's passionate about the early child development, and she came into our province and particularly take myself to one of those centers that has been built here in Bombela, and we were proud, and even the communities are proud. So we'll offer the support as the Department of Social Development that is required of us, and we also receive the additional support that is coming from the National Lottery, because it's not just about structures, but also in terms of running those structures. With this, we want to thank everyone, particularly our DM for championing. You know, she's the one that is upfront in terms of soliciting funding so that we can have more. In fact, the aid are little. So we love that, because as a rural province, we can be assisted in terms of getting more. But for now, we appreciate the aid that has been built in our province. I want to thank you, Program Director.
Asibonge MEC Umakwe Shongwe. I need to state as a representative of the province ukuthi we work in kuma offices of social development in the province, and we ask for information, we ask for assistance. Asinankinga, siyayithola usizo. Sisebenzisana kahle mangabe sithi siyahamba siyowenza ama-education and awareness, ama-capacity building, sisebenzisana kahle with the officials from the province. So asibonge kwi-leadership from the MEC, une-HOD, ukuthi basinikeze leso space as National Lotteries Commission in terms of ukwazi ukuthi sisebenze and sikwazi ukuthuthukisa umphakathi. Again, I'm also honored, also standing here, ukuthi manje ngi-introduce the Deputy Minister of Education, Honorable Regina Mohale, also from our province. We are very proud as a province. You can see the quality of women we are producing. An educator, by the way, for more than 20 years, the Deputy Minister. So I'm really excited to have her speaking on the occasion, supporting what the National Lotteries Commission together with ECD'S has done in the province. So with those few words, let me welcome the Deputy Minister of Education, ukuthi asinikeze the words of advice and encouragement.
Good morning, And thank you, Program Directors, Deputy Minister for Social Development, Mokopane Zulu, MEC for Social Development in Mpumalanga, Inkosi Mahlangu, Inkosi Ngomane. I really, really appreciate that in this meeting, Amakhosi akhona. Chairperson of the National Lottery Commission, Prof. Nevutanda, the Commissioner Mampane, the Ituba Holding CEO, Umama Mabuza Shamaine, and I want to count everybody, but I think that I might miss very important people. So UNICEF, I don't want to miss you because you are a very important stakeholder also. Mam Nora Fagute, you are very instrumental even in our own education when we're still young. So all the recipients and all the guests that are invited today receive greetings from the Department of Basic Education. First of all, I want to pay condolences to the Department of Social Development and to the family of Mamkoni Ngomalo for her passing on. We know one death in government is too many, especially when we lose a very important and being like Useskoni. Want to congratulate all the women in South Africa for all the celebrations that are happening in commemorating the Women's Month, which is August. And we know that during this month, we are busy with commemorations and celebrations, all the achievements that were made by women. But when we look back as to what is it that women were fighting for, as compared to today, it means the goalpost has changed. Now, what is facing women in South Africa is your gender-based violence and femicide, which we call on men to join women in this battle. And want to thank those men who will come and say, not in our name. And we really, really appreciate that. Another battle that is facing women is COVID-19. I know it's not only women, but there's entire society throughout the globe. But women will be the mostly affected because they are the ones that are taking care of homes and children, because as we're still fighting for the total emancipation of women, we know that women are still responsible for houses and everything. Another battle of women is early childhood development. I say this because you can go to all the centers, all are meant by women. And it's a woman who will say, I want to lay a foundation in the development of a child. So we want to thank the women in that good work, because and that child, at the age of early childhood development, the child is still fragile. But because of the love, the motherly love of a woman, it makes our children to be open to learning and teaching at that very early age, even in the crèches. So there is no better way to start building the future, we imagine, than to focus on early learning. By its very nature, early childhood development is the foundation for children's physical, cognitive, linguistic, and socio-economic emotional development. So we welcome all people who see it important to invest in children's early learning. And the fact that education is everybody's enterprise and everybody's business, of course, that's why we see NLC. Yes, because today we're in Mpumalanga, we'll say they are intervening in Mpumalanga, but we know that NLC is intervening in all the 9 provinces of South Africa. And I want to say thank you for that good gesture to show that investing in education is investing in the future of any country. So participation in quality and impactful in ECD programs is linked to improved attention and learning outcomes, as well as higher completion rates and school attainment levels. Program directors, in response to the call by the 2030 vision, which is embedded in the National Development Plan, the Department of Basic Education, together with the Department of Social Development, have put together an ECD framework to provide a roadmap on how we, along with other departments, your COGTA, your health, your home affairs, we can move ahead towards achieving the ECD vision. In essence, for us to realize the mission of achieving a high-performing and quality basic education system, we have to reimagine the early childhood development landscape, its architecture, concept, and its provisioning imperatives. And to this end, I think we all agree that investment in ECD cultivates the inherent potential in individuals and assist in bridging the social equity gap from a very young age of our children. It is for this reason that the communities of trust, inclusive of families, societies, government, civil society, and the private sector, can play a pivotal role in providing quality early childhood development resources and support. The Department of Basic Education recognizes that the ECD ecosystem in South Africa is made up of a rich and diverse network of stakeholders, which we aim and building on and consult throughout the process. That's why, program directors, we want to thank all the stakeholders. We believe that they are all very important. And there's no way where Department of Health, Social Development and Education can say they will be able to deal with issues of early childhood development alone. We need all the stakeholders, we need all the partners, we need everybody, parents and young people, that we all come together and shape the future of the country together. That's why the National Lottery Commission want to thank you very much, because you not only intervene on matters of early childhood development as far as education is concerned. We are working with you throughout all our schools in the country, all our primary schools, the infrastructure contribution that you are doing. As government alone, we cannot be in a position, even if we want to, because we have so much competing priorities. So when we are focusing on this, which we think is a priority of priorities, then the other one, which is also a priority, lags behind. That's why we want partners, progressive partners like the National Lottery Commission, to come and join the department. We are also calling upon all other stakeholders in the private sector to come and invest in education. We cannot only expect the matured products of education when they mature from higher education to come and work for the private sector. We want private sector to come and sow a seed that will germinate and translate into the workforce of this country. So what lottery is doing to us is very key, and it shows a sense of responsibility. So as basic education sector, we are excited about the future of ECD in the country and see this as a unique and significant opportunity to improve access to quality early learning and to embrace the ECD delivery system to better serve the children of South Africa. I want to congratulate the Department of Social Development, Mpumalanga Province, and the actual recipients for receiving these infrastructure projects from the National Lottery Commission and the board. Chairperson, I want to thank you, because as you were speaking, I was asking myself as to what is it that I'm going to say, because it's like you are representing the sector as a whole. But I know in any way you are a professor, and we really, really appreciate the good work and the seed that was sown by your predecessors in the commission will germinate, and all that are going to come even after you are going to make sure that they invest in education. And I want to thank you very much and thank Ituba, because I know they must think for home. They are based in Mpumalanga, and when they think of investing in any project of education, they must think home. And as MEC has indicated, we are expecting more because we are a close stakeholder and we are working together. And thank you very much, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister from the Department of Social Development, for those for basic education. we are partners. You know, when we work around the ECD sector, people will say there are three musketeers, which is the Department of Social Development, the Department of Health, and also the Department of Basic Education, working together with other stakeholders and other government departments, where we have COGTA, where we have other departments who are supporting in terms of making sure that our children are well taken care of. We have our National Interdepartmental Committee, where we meet as different departments. We saw that we heard the messages from the three departments, but they are representing all the departments and also our stakeholders, because we are doing this as a team. We're working together as a team to make sure that we stimulate our children and they are learning. And through this pandemic, where we're looking at COVID-19, making sure that we follow the protocols, we're working together to make sure that we reopen our ECD services, because during the lockdown, level 5, they were closed, level 4, they were closed, and they reopened now to make sure that we stimulate our children. We heard that National Lotteries is also supporting in terms of making sure that we have PPEs to align ourselves and to make sure that we adhere to all the protocols and taking care of our children during this pandemic period. And just to mention, do you know that we have a curriculum for our little ones? Because when we celebrate the matriculants saying that they have made it, we know where they started. So through the Department of Basic Education, we also have the National Curriculum Framework, where we're stimulating our children 0 to 4 years, working as partners and also making sure that our practitioners are being trained, and also our cooks, they are providing nutritious food. I would like to welcome our mother, our champion for ECD, advocating for children's rights, making sure that the foundation is being laid. And I hear the MEC for social development saying that the funding that we are getting in the ECD sector, our deputy minister is advocating for the funding, the donors that are assisting in our ECD programs. Deputy Minister, as a champion of ECD, welcome. Let's hear your words of encouragement. Thank you. Over to you, DM.
Okay. Once again, good afternoon. The nice part is when you speak last, everybody have spoken. To Prof and to the Commissioner, Professor Lumumba once said, if it takes you an hour to explain what you have done, it means you have done nothing at all. Because the reality is you need to keep quiet and let the work speak for you. And that is why we are here. Half the time, everywhere is National Lottery this, National Lottery that. We can never be told that which is good that they are doing. And also our mistake, we keep quiet when it matters most. So we have decided that in our sectors as social development, we need to begin to acknowledge the amazing work the National Lottery is doing, and not in closed boardrooms, but for the whole of South Africa to see. Let me acknowledge Deputy Minister Mhauli. Thank you so much for joining us. The MEC, Umam Shongwe, thank you so much, because I am now taking these ECD'S. I've received them from Prof. I'm now giving them to you, because you are the one that is going to make sure that the maintenance allocated budget, these ECD'S are there, and I like it because you've already accepted the responsibility. So that makes our work very easy. And it also says, I want to confirm to Prof and to the Commissioner, all of these ECD'S we are handing over today are being subsidized by social development already. So that means the dream, the aspirations, Prof, that you have that planted this seed, these ECD'S will always have children beyond 2030, and they will always be supported. So social development doesn't put you up on subsidy and remove you next week. That's not what we do. Hence, we accept infrastructure, because once you are an ECD funded by social development, you continue to be funded, because we're not funding the individual, but we are making sure everything that has been said, children will eat nutritious, the practitioners are trained, etc., etc. I want to also acknowledge the presence of Ndabezitha. Without them providing land for social infrastructure in rural areas, we can stand on our heads, but we are not going to do anything. So I want to thank Nkosi Mahlangu, I want to thank Nkosi Ngoma, I want to thank the National House of Traditional Leaders for opening their doors to social development, and to the many, many partners that want to access land for social infrastructure. Because as I said, without Amakosi, we are never going to make it work. And all of these ECD'S are on tribal land. So we really, really want to thank the tribal authorities for ensuring that we are able to do what we need to do. We want to thank UNICEF for keeping us true and accountable, because without the United Nations system, member states, we can do whatever that we like. But what I know is that when UNICEF reports to the United Nations committee, they cannot report without having NLC on the reports, because we make sure they're here to not only monitor us as social development, but monitor South Africa as a member state of the UN, but to actually make sure that we do that which is right. We meet our international obligations as a member state of the UN. So we want to say, we are excited to have you at all of these handovers, because you are not only going to talk about a story that you read, you're going to be able on your reports to the UN and on our own South Africa country reports. When we report, UNICEF will be an entity that says, indeed, they have delivered. We can take you. Indeed, we have seen it, and witness that when our president goes to the UN and says all of these nice things about our commitment to children, UNICEF will be there to be a witness. And actually, even when we are not there as South Africa, UNICEF will continue to speak and acknowledge the good work that we are doing. We want to thank the ECD practitioners, but also the founders of these ECDs, because for an ECD to exist, it's a dream of a woman that reached out to other women to say, you can go to work and I'll look after your children. And that's a birth of an ECD. It doesn't just fall from the sky. The nice policies that we draft as social development with the Department of Basic Education, we can draft them. And then every time somebody talks, we just do this, you know. Are there at the library and like, yeah, we have the framework, we have this, so don't ask us anything, please, we beg. But it doesn't happen like that. The National Lotteries has assisted us to give effect to the fancy policies and the very good words we are very good at putting on paper. Now it is real. It's in front of us, we can feel it, we can touch it, we can see it. And that, I want to say, today it's Mpumalanga, and we are handing over these ECD'S. These ECD'S are reaching, Commissioner and Prof, 1,487 children. And it creates 528 jobs. That is what we have secured. And we know that the 1,427 children, I shall never meet them at the drug rehabilitation facility. I shall never meet them as teenage mothers. I shall never meet them as street children, because you, as ECD practitioners, are going to ensure that the foundation is so solid, it's so tight, by the training you've received from us, from Basco. I want to acknowledge my go-go-getter, that's what I call her, because she is a go-go-getter. And at Social Development, we celebrate go-go-getters like her. So as a go-go-getter, you have ensured that they don't just feed our children, they sleep and eat. But the curriculum that we have drafted is also understood. Because when you start an ECD, we don't ask you for a PhD. And a lot of women whose ECDs are doing well have actually never had the opportunity to sit in a classroom. But because of all of the training that National Lottery has assisted us with, the training that NDA is doing, our practitioners are able to improve to get to NQF level 5, starting from 0 to NQF level 5, and we have seen our ECDs actually doing quite very well. Yes, indeed, Prof, we will ensure, because PPE will determine whether an ECD is ready, and we will fast track and make sure that all of these 120 ECDs that the National Lotteries has completed actually are beginning to service our children. I want to also conclude by saying, as the former Deputy Minister of Public Works, I always say it's very nice to build the structure and for us to come together like we are today to actually hand it over to a community. But maintenance, 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 and maintenance is what is going to ensure that in 2050, the ECDs we are handing over to these communities, to the NPOs that are running them, to the parents that must be partners in the education of their children, will still be there. And for government to ensure that they continue to represent the rural child, who have every right to receive the exact same ECD as an urban child. Just because geography has disadvantaged you as a South African child, that must never count against you. And not everybody wants to come to Johannesburg. Besides, the gold isn't there anymore. So building these structures in rural areas encourage and acknowledge the fact that we all want to stay where we are. So bring the social services closer to us so that we are able to ensure that they function. Let me thank Team DSD at all 4 spheres, national, province, district, and local, because it is our hardworking social workers, Prof and Commissioner, that are going to be monitoring every single day what happens in these ECDs. We want to thank the Department of Health. In a way, we married in community of property with no option of divorce, because they need us, we need them. But I also want to indicate that we thank the Department of Home Affairs. As we go through the launches, one is building and bringing on board the different deputy ministers, for them to begin to understand the interrelations. As the President says, district models coordinate government. We've been doing it, because if a child doesn't have a birth certificate, that child doesn't get their subsidy, and that child doesn't get to be admitted at an ECD. In the same way, if that child doesn't have a road to health card, the child is not admitted at ECD. And these are the patterns and the coordination that we want to continue to build to make sure that we achieve what the Early Childhood Development Policy says, universalization of ECD, access of ECD, and nutrition, healthy minds, healthy bodies, so they can absorb in their first 1,000 days each and every positive energy we are going to give to them. And we thank you, Connie. May your soul rest in eternal peace. As we say, this is your work, you have championed, and therefore your work can never go in vain. It will always be there for South Africa to celebrate, and it will always be there for your own children to remember the contribution their mother made, to have an amazing, drug-free, HIV-free, gender-based violence-free, because these children were taught at a very early age. And by the way, alcohol literate South Africans, as we teach these children to be aware of the social structural drivers that are going to steal their future. And it is you, ECD practitioners, I want to thank you. For the women can access the economy, they can build their families, but for the young girls who find themselves as teenage mothers, they are able to go back to school because of these ECDs. So thank you very much, National Lotteries Commission. We would have had the amazing policies. Without you bringing the resources, it will still be a very long pipe dream. But today, it's real. We can feel it, we can touch it, and women, as we celebrate Women's Month, can go out and find job opportunities without the fear of their children being abused, neglected, hungry. They can serve South Africa, rebuild the economy where they know where their children are. Thank you very much.
Asibonge, Deputy Minister. Let's appreciate leadership. I'm going to tell you a story. I was in Mpumalanga and we are busy building a disability center. It's hot. And I get out of the car and guess who I see? The Deputy Minister. Uma crutches. Githi kodwa ubekwa yini la? And she tells me ukuthi umsebenzi umele uqhubeke. And that's what I appreciate in terms of the hands, all hands on deck, which are irrespective, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much. Right now, it's also an honor for me, the chairperson of the Mpumalanga House of Traditional Leadership. It's very important to understand ukubaluleka kwamakhosi and the role abayidlalayo in terms of community development. And it's as a province, we took a stand very clear on ukuthi we are for rural development. So it becomes very important ukuthi amakhosi are involved in what we do. And with these ECDs, they were so launched right now. Amakhosi were engaged in terms of having access to umhlaba and the support as isakhiwo ziqhubeka zakhiwa ukuthi babe khona babe involved bazi ukuthi kwenzekani emphakathini wabo. So with those, I would like also to recognize Unkosi Mahlangu, who's the chairperson of the National House of Traditional Leadership. Unkosi Sipho Mahlangu, who's also from Mpumalanga. Let me recognize we have been told that we are also attending. But right now, again, hand over to Unkosi Sandile Mongomane, ukuthi asinikeze a vote of thanks from the House of Traditional Leadership. Ngiyabonga.
Program directors, siyani bingelela. Maye yihle program yenu nibambe kahle. Angivusele kubahlonishwa ngicale ngamhlonishwa Buhopane Zulu. Ngivusele mhlonishwa Mhawuli. Ngivusele inkosi Mahlangu la ikhona khona. Ngivusele umhlonishwa Shongwe wala Mpumalanga. Ngivusele futhi nalaba labathunyiwe bathunywa umhlonishwa Manzini ngeva ukuthi ngumake Mdluli. Sivusele kumake Mampane. Sivusele kumake Mabuza. Babe Nevuthanda. Make Mafiko. Make Fagutse. Gogo wethu. Babe Soul. Lama ECD'S la khona la namuhla in our midst. Sibonga leli thuba leli sinikete lona. Sibonga futhi nokuthi nibe khona nonke lana kulomhlangano. Sibonge netinkulumo letihle takhako letibuyaka labahlonishwa labakhulumile embi kwethu. Mhlolo wetikhathi tamanje siphila phasi kwale COVID-19. Into lesingasi ready as ma-Africans. Africans isafuna kulungisa tindzaba tekuthi akuliwe nendlala. Kuliwe na nokushaywa mhlambe nokuhlukumbetwa kwabomake nabantwana. Bese kuvela into lenje lesenta ukuthi sidideke mbamba. Asathi siyathemba ukuthi sitakubamba konke sikuface sikulungise konke at the same time. The House of Traditional Leaders in Mpumalanga wishes to give thanks to the National Lotteries Commission for having fulfilled its promise to give priority to development proposals coming from the rural areas. This was done after signing an MOU with the traditional leaders some 2 years ago. So thank you for staying with that promise. We thank you, National Lottery Commission, for your unwavering support. We thank you for your healthy partnership, the healthy partnership that we have with you. We want to encourage the National Lottery Commission to continue to channel most of their social funds to the development of facilities in rural areas, starting from ECD'S to primary and secondary education, even health facilities too. We believe that the National Lottery Commission can lead this development campaign so that more companies can join in order to realize the African child's dream. Rural people want, and they deserve so, quality service from the government and private companies. We want to do everything in the rural areas where we live and not to worry about traveling to towns, as the minister has said. We must clearly identify the project that we're launching, especially these ones that we're launching today, that are under traditional leaders, so that we can monitor the progress of these facilities, as we promised in the MOU, that we would want to see how the money was spent and if it's worth what has been done with it. So we would like to do that. I think we should connect about it so we can help monitor as such. Bomake bethu labahola lama ECD'S nalabafundisako sisichubekani, please do continue to teach the African child to address the elders as Babe Mdluli, Mage Zulu, Malume Sipho, Auntie Thembi, Bhuti Themba. You see, that's Africa, that's African, that's Ubuntu. Sikhula siyahlonipha. So lama ECD'S mabathi kufundiswa labantwana from early child development akube embedded in their minds. Kuhlonipha ngoba live lelingahloniphi aliyi embili. We must teach them to refrain from addressing elders with their first names. Teach them to tone down when an elder comes by. In this way, they are going to succeed in life, and in South Africa will indeed have a certain future and a straightforward future. Indeed, bahlonishwa kuthiwa ligotshwa lisemandi. Siyabonga kakhulu siphize sihlangane futhi kulonke umhlangano njengoba sisakha live laseNingizimu Afrika. National Lottery Commission ibabe njalo, our doors are open. Siyatholakala noma kunini, asibambisaneni kusasekuningi lefuna sikwende. Sibonga kakhulu kini nonke.
Asibonge uNkosi uBaba Ngumane ngamazwi amahle asinikeza wona. Kuleli thuba leli ilesithuba leli ngithiwa iclosure ukuthi sivale. Asithembe ukuthi lani khona ma beneficiaries and our stakeholders eMpumalanga ne-enjoyile najabula for ukuthi sikwazi ukuvula lama ECD ethu. Angibonge again from all the progressive partners. I think the MEC mentioned that, from UNICEF, the House of Traditional Leadership, I think the vision of the board, we appreciate it, and the leadership from the operational level in our organization, Magemampane, Siyabonga kakhulu, in terms of pushing for that rural development, wonke ama-province ethu South Africa. Ngibonge futhi EDSD at the national level for providing a policy framework and also an enabling environment ukuthi sikwazi uku-operate khona. My colleagues at DSD in the province for always being there to assist us ukuthi mangabe sidinga usizo and sisebenzisane ndawonye ukuthi babe khona. Ithuba for the work that they are doing in terms of ensuring ukuthi ama services la kungathengwa khona ilotho akhona konke ama villages ethu. Siyabonga kakhulu. UNICEF ama state ukuthi umake Mafiko said it's not a cost, it's an investment. It's a human investment, and that's exactly what we have done right now. And mangabe singathatha lawo mazwi sambe nawo ukuthi it's a human investment, it's not a cost. And if we realize as organizations, as departments, private, public, ukuthi sonke lana mangabe sokwazi ukunakekela abantu bakithi, those that are disadvantaged, South Africa would go far. I need to state ukuthi what I've heard namhlanje in terms of the integrated approach is in terms of the healthcare, nutrition, food security, birth registration from the Department of Home Affairs, and what we have done in terms of infrastructural development in those rural places where we ensure ukuthi abantu la bekhona bayakwazi ukuthi bafunde khona, not ukuthi bahambe 60 kilometers like Prof mentioned. They must be able to get good access facilities la bekhona khona. Sikhuluma ukuthi in terms of the teacher and the practitioner development, of which the NLC, we are very proud ukuthi that's the space we in too esifandayo khona. We are very happy ukuthi sikhona lapho so that we ensure ukuthi ingane zethu ayifiki lama ECD and sing the whole day bayafunda, and that's what we are doing there. Ake ngisho laba babukayo, our stakeholders in Mpumalanga and all the municipalities from Nkomazi right through to mention all the municipalities, Abo Bush, let me rather mention the districts, it's easier, which is Ehlanzeni, Gelt. So I'm saying to you, ukuthi siyanibona, siyeza, and sisifikile. We're going to be providing the service to you, because that's what we're doing. COVID-19, our offices are opened. Come and join us. Nize officini, obviously following a protocol, and we'll be able to assist you going forward. What's English something, I think we need to state it during the month of Abomage. Ukuthi men, speak out. Men, do not shut up. Sorry to use that word. Because you've got problems here in terms of the gender-based violence. And we know these people. Ngoba sihlala nabo. Siba nama holy waters nabo. It needs to stop. Our daughters, our mothers, abogogo bethu, abosis bethu, they don't deserve such. It is not them that should be standing up. It is us as men that should stand up and speak out and say enough is enough. And laba babukayo right now, we as men need to do that. So with those words, ngicela ukubonga to everyone who attended this function. Those angade bekhona eMpumalanga, data yenu, I'm sure ukuthi it was worth it. To all our stakeholders and everyone, siyabonga kakhulu. And I must state, Commissioner, we need to thank laba banga, the support staff, Deputy Ministers. Your staff, I saw them running around. Our Tina will be our ladies. They're doing a great job, and they deserve which is appreciated for umsebenzi owenzayo ngoba this is new for us. And what is being done right now, if given an opportunity, we can actually explore and do more without being physically there. So let's appreciate Bona for the work that they've done. My co-program director, let me thank you for this journey. Thank you. I think we did a good job. I'm proud of what we did. If there was a hands lana, I would have but the producer, I'm sure, which is not going to be able to do that. And to everyone, give to the ECD'S, the most important people, thank you. Thank you and thank you. And I say thank you because they stood up. There's an office in late. There was an ECD as a Takakra, let's say 11 episodes with a colleague. 11 episodes, and that's how passionate these ladies are. Let's appreciate them. Siyabonga ngomsebenzi wenu and wenzayo. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. From my side, Umzwandile Wangubane, Provincial Manager of NLC in Mpumalanga, thank you for attending this event. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Thank you.